Welcome to the Detroit Lions postgame show presented by Cure Auto Insurance. The first team to 50 points wins today. Lions beat the Titans in Week 8 at their own home field, 52-14. Thanks for joining us here inside Ford Field. That's Super Bowl champion Lomas Brown next to me. I'm Dannie Rogers. The last time the Detroit Lions scored 50 points in a game, Lomas, November 27th, 1997. I was 2 years old. The last time Detroit started their season 6-1, 1956. You were 7 years old, Lomas. Not to date you or anything or give people your birth year. We're witnessing history, though, right now for the Detroit Lions. What did you witness here today that comes to mind first?
Danny, it was a total butt whipping. It really was. It didn't start off that way. I was a little nervous in the first quarter. I'm out ready to go against a team like Tennessee. But, oh, boy, once that second quarter hit, we really picked it up. And there was no stopping this offense, special teams, defense. We just did it all. We played complementary football today, Danny, in all three phases of the game.
You mentioned it. Those 50-plus points from Detroit was thanks in large part because of the field optimization from special teams and Detroit. Detroit coming up with 2 takeaways. And Nowoski, Kirby Joseph, they both ran those balls back to set up the Detroit Lions offense for really great field position. And that's where a lot of these points came from. So you talk about complementary football. That's going to play a large part in the stats you see today. Do not try to understand all of them, Detroit Lions fans, because you're not going to get it if you didn't watch this entire game. Just 61 passing yards on the day from Detroit. 52 points later, it didn't matter. Detroit won the game on the ground. And, well, not in the time of possession because Titans won that as well. So for Titans to walk away with 14 points on 416 total yards of offense, what does that tell you, Lomas?
I mean, that tells me that our defense, they bent, but they didn't break. They didn't give up the points once the team was able to get in the red zone. They were able to make timely stops when they needed to make timely stops, and we were also able to get timely turnovers too, the interceptions, the fumble recovery. Just, again, I thought our defense played aggressive. They played downhill, and they really got after the Tennessee Titans. Whoever had the ball, they were drawing the crowd, and that was good, very good to see from our defense.
Titans receiver Calvin Ridley had 143 receiving yards on the day. However, 118 of those came in the first quarter alone, which means Detroit Lions pass defense adjusted down the stretch. What would you make of the pass rush, though, today? I know you're gonna get that question a lot, Lomas.
Danny, we're gonna have to do something about it. We really are. I mean, again, it's just too much time for the quarterback to have back there when we weren't manufacturing the rush. And what I mean by that is if we're not sending linebackers, if we're not sending safeties or corners, then we're not able to get there with our 4-down defensive linemen. And that's going to be a problem because once you start sending extra guys, then you take away from the secondary. You take away from the linebacker position. And that's something we don't want to do, especially when we play better and better teams. So we're going to have to figure out a way of getting a pass rush on these guys and getting these guys down there.
We'll talk more about that because November 5 trade deadline is looming. I want to get your thoughts on that later on, Lomas. But for now, let's send it to the head coach, Dan Campbell, who's standing by at the podium.
Okay, how's it going? So credit that team. That team came out and played hard. I really felt that, and we figured they would. It's not like we didn't. So, credit to them. And I know it doesn't look that way, but we did come out to fight, and that's what we expected. I felt that we were going to be ready. We were going to be ready, and it's like I told them, that's what champions do, and you come out, you don't care what time of day it is, what the records are, what the surface is, you come out and handle your business, and we did that. Now, we did not play our cleanest ball. We really didn't. However, when you have 4 takeaways on defense, you're 5 of 5 in the red zone, and you have the returns that our special teams unit had, punt return and kick return, then you can get a lot of production and things sway your way. So but it's a hell of a team win, you know. And once again, this team knows how to complement itself, and all three units are humming. We're pretty dang good.
Definition of complementary.
Yes, absolutely it is. Absolutely.
6-1 record, first time since 1956. I mean, y'all erased a lot of those narratives last year with winning culture. But how does it feel to continue to do that? You know, to continue to do things that this franchise hasn't started.
Yeah, I mean, I think we, you know, it's really just about the one that's in front of us. I don't feel like it's something we're going for the next record. We're just playing ball. We're trying to play as clean as we can. We're trying to be as productive as we can. The players, you know, they're urgent about it, man. They're accountable to it, and they want more. You know, and they know when it's good and when it's not. You know, so that's a credit to them. And we still have room to improve, which is great. We've improved a ton, but man, we're those guys are taking the game plan and they're executing it, and it's on to the next one.
And you mentioned the 4 takeaways today. I think you had 5 a couple weeks ago, and 10 in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Beyond just having playmakers on that side of the ball, what has sort of led to this, frenzy of takeaways that you had, and how important they are?
Well, look, we emphasize it, and we have. It's not like we don't emphasize this, but it's sometimes it's a different way of doing it, and so every day, I mean, we do a takeaway circuit, and no different than we do ball security on offense. That's how we start once we're out of warm up, and man, you emphasize and you try to take it as serious as you can, and they need to be like game reps, and it's punch outs and it's strips, and because look, the interceptions will come, you know, those things will come, and if you know, the ball carrier's loose with it naturally, those will come. But, man, the ones you got to work on are the punch-outs, man, the intention to it, finding, locate, hit it, get it out, the grabbing the front of the ball, grabbing the hand, pulling, scraping, and we work on that. But I've said this before, man, that stuff's contagious. It's contagious. Every team I've ever been a part of, player or coach, man, they start coming in bunches. And once you start getting the taste of it, guys want to be a part of that, and they start watching the guy next to them a little bit more, a little more focused. They start doing it, and pretty soon it does. It becomes contagious. Just like you start turning the ball over a lot, and you get tight, and all of a sudden, man, it starts going the wrong way, and those come in bunches too. So we're in a good place. It's credit to AG and those coaches over there. And it's big. You know, you get 4 takeaways, it can be hard for us to lose.
Now that you value special teams, just Khalif to have those big returns, and Doris to have a big one too, that had to make you smile. Just kind of see that production from special teams.
It sure did. I told the team, you know, Leaf got a game ball in there, obviously, and I told kind of just the story of Brad coming into my office in 2021. You know. And early spring, we were fresh on the job, and he said, "Hey, take a peek at this guy from Tennessee. He's really a returner, kind of gadget. You think there's a place for him on offense?" And watched about 10 plays, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely there is. You know, take this guy in a heartbeat." So, and it's been a blessing ever since to get Leaf here. What a pro he is. Guys love him, coaches, players, man, you talk about reliable, and he's consistent, and the way he prepares, the way he works, and he does everything for us, man. He can play all the positions on offense. He's a dynamic returner. That was good to see, man. It's been a while since we got some big ones, and he's just, man, he's the best. And so that was great, man. The team's fired up for him, and I thought those guys blocked their rears off, and the rest was up to him. You know, he turned it on and found it.
What did you see in those 10 plays? What was it, offensive plays or returns or blocking? Or what did you see from him in those 10 plays?
Yeah, the returns, it didn't take but a couple of returns, but on offense, it was some of these men. They'd bring him in as like he'd run some of these deep pylons, fast motion, deep pylon, or the sail routes, and it was just like, whoa. I mean, his speed showed up, and then knowing that really he's a returner, I'm like, there was a naturalness about him, and you can't hide from the speed, but it wasn't like he's just speed, and he looks, man, he's a fluid athlete, and it just, at the time, it was, I mean, you know, We desperately needed it.
And you also comment on how, you picked up on him and he's done so much with the team, yet he was with 3 or 4 other teams that picked him up, cut him, moved him around, and that happens in the NFL. It takes a while to just sort of find your place sometimes, it takes years to find his.
Yeah, and I tell guys all the time, go talk to Leaf. Some of these young guys, I'm like, you want to know reality in this league? Go talk to him. He'll give you perspective. We got a couple of guys that way. So, you don't ever know. You don't know what is it going to take. Why did the things happen they did? And there's a lot of things that go. It could be circumstance. It could be coaching staff just doesn't see the value. It could be he's too small. Could be, well, he's a returner only. Could be, well, at that time he wasn't playing with confidence, right? And I'm using him as an example, but there's so many factors that go into it. And I know this. Everything for him, it's been perfect, and it's been the right mixture, and the environment has been great, and he's been outstanding, and his confidence level, and everything he brings to us as a player. But I mean, he's everything. I can stand up here and go, I could go all day talking about Leaf, what a stud he is, and but he's one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys.
And the first interception, complimentary football, you got the hit from Levi, and Trevor makes the pick. Those are 2 guys that are, playing larger roles because of injuries. You're seeing that across the board, aren't you?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys that are picking up slack, and they know that they're not just there to be a placeholder. Like, they're there, they got an opportunity, and they, like we talk about all the time, you got to hold the line. It's your job, it's your time, and you can't be a liability. You can't be. So there's a ton of guys. What you talked about it. Nowowski, we brought in Al Muhammad. We had Isaiah. Germ had to go out and play a ton of defense, because Rodrigo hurt his ankle. So there's a ton of that everywhere. We talked about J-Mo being out, and look, we didn't miss a beat, And now some of that is because special teams, right? We never really even in the flow of an offense necessarily out in the field, but it was, you go 5 for 5 in the red zone, like I say, then you don't have to worry about it. So. But yeah, our guys are doing a good job of stepping up when they get an opportunity.
Dan, you've been saying for a while that you thought Gibbs was this close,
Mm-hmm.
getting out, getting free, and Montgomery also had some tough, productive running in the red zone. Can you sort of speak to the value on a day when you're not your sharpest, as you said, that you can still lean on that run game?
Yeah, it's it's bittersweet because you weren't at your best. And so there's just there's a little bit of that empty feel, but on the positive side is what we talked about. Well, yeah, but when you have your special teams unit plays that well and is that productive, and then you do those little things, the red zone offensively, the takeaways defensively. Well, you didn't need it. You didn't need to play your best there. You want to, and we should, but it's just another reminder, man. When we play. Because we play with 3 units here, and when a couple of them are cooking at the right time, it can bail out one of your units. And when you get them all 3 playing at the right time, then I think you're very hard to beat. So, listen, I like where we're at. We're in a good place. It's win number 6. It's a perfect setup. We get to go to Lambeau this week. I'm already excited. I know the guys are. And so it was good. That's a good win.
How bad was Malcolm's ankle?
Yeah, we'll know more tomorrow. I mean, obviously he didn't finish the game, so that's not good. But I don't think it'll be something like, this is going to take the rest of the season. It's nothing like that.
Thanks, guys. We're not Jared, and we can hear what we're doing in the locker room. Thank you.
Being the starting quarterback for the Lions, moving out here to Detroit, what's the first thing you learned about car insurance?
Yeah, I learned it's a challenge, and I'm curious what brought you to Michigan.
We were a big part of the new reform laws that were passed in 2019, went into effect in 2021. So it gave us an opportunity to give affordable rates to people in Michigan that they've been starving for years.
Amazing. Anything else?
Yeah, go Lions.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. He's becoming one of the heartbeats of this offense. It's hard to narrow it down with so many weapons, but Jahmyr Gibbs is such a threat in the run game and the pass game. His last 2 games, just under 300 rushing yards, 3 TDs. He is playing out of his mind right now, and he needs to step up to the plate for Montgomery. His stats today included 127 rushing yards, 1 TD, the longest run of the day.
Wow.
That 70-yard TD run. That was the only play on the drive that put the Lions up 14-7. He showed off those wheels, those Sonic wheels, really early today, Lomas.
He really did. And Danny, when he showed it off, it was at a crucial point in the game. We needed that because we were kind of struggling a little bit. But once he hit that 70-yard run, it just seemed like it ignited the whole offense. And you talking about speed. When they say speed kills, yes, it does, Danny, because I seen 2 Tennessee Titans that had angles on Jahmyr, and they couldn't get him. So, I mean, the guy's unbelievable, and he's getting better and better each and every game.
The knuckles to the Sonic on this team. David Montgomery, 9 carries today for just 33 rushing yards. You know what? That's okay because Montgomery was throwing touchdown passes to tight end Sam Laporta in the second quarter for these Lions to go up 35-14. So even when Montgomery isn't running the rock, he's still impacting this offense.
He really is. And kudos to Ben Johnson. I mean, this guy just goes, he opens that bag of trickeration, and he goes deep in there. And that was another example today. Really caught the defense off guard by David Montgomery throwing that pass. It was a beautiful pass. Everybody can throw on this team. What is going on? So we don't have to worry about the emergency quarterback because we got Sam, we got Fox, we got David Montgomery. We got everybody that can throw passes on this team. So it was good, though, Danny, really good.
That Montgomery 3-yard touchdown pass to Sam Laporta is our play of the game. Sam Laporta's touchdown right before that was called back. He was just short of the goal line. But you know what? Dan Campbell said, hey, he's my tight end. It's National Tight Ends Day. I'm going to get you a touchdown catch, and I'm going to have Montgomery, one of my favorite humans of all time, to throw the pass. Here's what it looked like.
Yeah, and it was just a great job. They sold it, Danny. That's what you have to do. You have to sell the run. The offensive line, David, they sold the run, and then he was able to just launch it to Sam Laporta for the touchdown. Like I say, just a great call, great execution on the play. And that's what the Lions have been doing. And I'm telling you, Ben Johnson, he can't feel afraid to call anything because of how this team is executing at such a high level right now.
Laporta led all Detroit Lions receivers today with 48 yards on the day, 6 receptions for that touchdown, longest catch of the day. And this was the only explosive catch of the day, too. We went over this, Lomas. 24 yards. It went to Sam Laporta. Despite the lack of explosion in the pass game, what does that tell you about this offense and how this team just operated today, that they can still put up 52 points?
So, Danny, I always said our offense starts and stops with the run. Well, that's what happened today. It just proves my point that we need to establish the run, and everything else falls off of the run. And that's what you've seen today. We were able to pound the rock, pound the rock, pound the rock. And to be honest with you, we really didn't need the pass today because we done such an excellent job running the ball, but also special teams did a nice job putting us in great field position. So we didn't really need Jared today, and that's a good thing. Let him rest that arm because we might need him next week.
A special teams ace, Khalil Dorsey, said, hey, Goff, take a seat. I'm going to help you out here real quick with a 72-yard kick return. That set up the Brock Wright touchdown, his one and only reception on the day. Good enough to put Detroit ahead 21-14 in the second quarter. That's his first touchdown of the season. We've been waiting for it, Lomas.
We have been. I mean, because we wanted the Brock Wright. Who? Brock Wright. We wanted to get that call in. We finally got it in today. I'm happy for Brock. He's one of my favorite players on this team. I tell you what he was doing at a high level today, Danny. He was blocking. I seen him throw a lot of great blocks today in the run game. And again, if you don't get the ball, like you say, say on National Tight End Day, guess what else you do? You get out there and you rock guys. You block them. You put them on the ground. And that's what Brock Wright, Sam Laporta, all our tight ends did a little of that today on National Tight End Day.
There is no doubt in my mind that Dan Campbell, also a former tight end, had National Tight End Day in his mind, and that's what you also saw. Shane Zylstra activated here today, and two tight ends get TDs today. That is outstanding.
When is it going to be National Tackle Day?
You guys deserve love too up front. I agree. Taylor Decker would be first in line to tell you that.
Thank you.
I agree.
I agree. Okay,
I know.
we agree.
I know. Taylor Decker is blocking for quarterback Jared Goff, who had a quieter day today, just 15 pass attempts. He completed 12 of those for 61 total net yards passing. That is because there were 4 sacks that took away 33 of those passing yards today. So you don't want to hear that there were 4 sacks on Goff today. You check out his rating, 129.9. He still played pretty elite when he was throwing the ball, but you check out receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown, just 7 receiving yards on the day. That doesn't sound like this offense, but it didn't have to be this offense today.
No, it didn't, Danny. And what's the most important stat to me is that 129. That means he took care of the ball. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. He completed most of his passes. That we could see he only had 3 incompletion. So again, as long as he's putting up ratings the way he is, you could tell that he had a good game compared to what he has been doing. The numbers aren't there, but that 129 rating, that's a great rating for a quarterback to have, especially only throwing 15 passes.
And especially only having time of possession be 24 minutes and 23 seconds on offense. Lions, 5 of 5 in the red zone. Goal-to-go situations, 4 for 4, 100%. They were clicking when they were down there by that end zone. Quarterback Jared Goff now is at the podium. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was probably, I don't know if I've ever been a part of something like that, where we start with the ball in not only in plus territory, but in the red zone. I don't know how many times, 4 or 5 probably. And, we did our job and punched them in for touchdowns. And that's what we were asked to do today and did that well. And, with that being said, we scored 52 and there's still like some, and I know that sounds like kind of hollow after scoring 52, but there are some things that we can do better on offense when we weren't down in that red area.
It seemed like every time that they chipped away, you guys immediately responded, whether it be with a big return and gives a 70-yarder. I guess just how impressed were you with your guys' ability to jump right back on them after every kind of small victory they had?
Yeah, we respond well. We knew that they'd come out fighting. We really did. I mean, they're a solid team, and they've played a lot of these games well early on. But we knew if we just kept staying on them, they would wear down eventually, and we're able to do that. And I think the stuff with Khalif is pretty remarkable. And when we're starting with the ball down there, and then Dorsey has the long return as well, we get interceptions taken down there. It's like, our job is to go another 30 yards. That's okay. We'll do that and score.
You ever been a part of a game where 6 different guys scored a touchdown for you guys?
I don't think so. Yeah, no, that's another stat. Yeah, I don't think so.
Can you just speak to just the versatility we talk about all the time, but when 6 different guys score touchdowns for you, I mean, that's some weapons that you have.
Yeah, we do. We really do. I mean, and yeah, you go right down the list. Obviously, we know everything about St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs and Montgomery. They score a ton, but like Khalif, obviously, he has the punt return and then the touchdown on offense, and it's just like, every week it's somebody new, and this week was his.
You've been here the whole way with him. When you were here when he came in. So I guess just how awesome is that to see Khalif have a game like this, stick through it?
Yeah, against his former team.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. He was our guest captain this week. We do that every week. He was the one this week, which is typically against your former team. Dan does that for those guys, and yeah, it was awesome. I mean, he's just been so close to breaking them through the whole year, it seems like, and today those guys were blocking well for him, and he's making those returns. He's as electric as it gets back there, and they kept kicking it to him, so he kept making them.
You mentioned they would come out fighting in the
Yeah.
first couple of drives. I think they had 3 sacks. Was
Yeah.
a little bit of a they really are in for a game, and then it switched just like that with the returns.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way? That like it was gonna be a
We knew that though. We knew they'd come out hot, and we were doing our best to match their intensity, and they got up on us early there on some of those sacks. That D line is an impressive group, and did a good job there early, and then we settled in. And again, this game, games throughout the year, offense is winning the game, defense is winning the game. And in this game, it was special teams, it seemed, and our defense with all the turnovers, and then we would punch it in. But full team effort. Again, it's hard to kind of put into words because I don't know if I've been a part of something like that, but it was absolutely a team effort, and the special teams kind of carried us.
Have you ever been a part of something where you had 3 touchdowns on 85 total yards?
Yeah, I'll take it. I've had a lot of games where I've had a whole lot of yards and not a lot of touchdowns. So, those even themselves out.
172 points and 22 touchdowns the last 4 games. Just what is it about this offense that's just, it seems pretty unstoppable at this point?
Yeah, each game's been different, right? Like, I don't think I can bunch them all into the same category. I think what we've done a good job, though, is getting in the red zone. We've scored touchdowns. We really have. And we always talk about getting that first down. If we can get that first down on offense on a drive, I think our numbers of getting it in the end zone are pretty high. So, focusing on that, starting off fast, starting off on that first down or second down or third down, converting, and then go from there. But we've been good in the red zone, and that typically leads to a lot of points.
You guys were favored by, 11 or 12, but in the NFL, that means very little generally.
Yeah.
You often see really good teams. I think that Baltimore beat Cleveland by a point or something.
I've lost a game favored by more than that, so yeah.
Yeah. So can you just talk about how important it is to win games that you are supposed to win when you are supposedly the better team?
Yeah, if we would have won by a point, we'd be just as happy. They all count the same at the end of the year, and yeah. So I don't know if we care how much we're supposed to win or not. And people saying, careful for a trap game. Like, we were ready to go. We were geared up, ready to go, and all week we were saying, we're going to be ready. And they came out and fought us, and we had to fight back and blow it open there, and it was a good win.
Last one, Jeremy.
What's your assessment of David Montgomery's pass?
That was a dart. That was an absolute dart, and his dance was good too after. And we've been cooking that one for maybe a couple of years now too, and good moment for it. And Sam wasn't really like that open. He was open, but that had to be a good throw, and that was an absolutely well thrown ball.
You nervous at this point? There are so many guys on the team that can.
I know we're just throwing. I know I gotta be careful, but no, that was a great throw by David.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Saint, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No, getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. He is the first Detroit Lion in franchise history to have a punt return for a touchdown and a receiving touchdown in a single game, and it is Kalif Raymond. That is why he is our player of the game. He caught up with in-game host Anthony Bellino post-game.
All right, Lions fans, we're down here on the field post-game with this guy right here, number 11, 5 punt returns, 190 yards, a touchdown in the punt return game, as well as a receiving touchdown. Kalif Raymond. Leaf, what were you seeing there in special teams? How did you create such alleys and get all the way to the house on a 90-yard punt return?
Oh, goodness gracious. Actually, you want to know what's crazy is we were in defense stay, so that's the defense blocking out there. So just crazy. It's happened a couple times like that the past couple years. Defense takes no plays off, man, and it was sparked by Khalil's kickoff return touchdown too. So the special teams is fired up today.
Now, what if I told you guys would score 52 points and Jared Goff would have under 100 yards passing? The amount of weapons you have, defense obviously forcing some turnovers, setting up good field position, but you guys are scoring punches in bunches, coming just shy of the franchise single game record of 55 points. How are you guys able to do it?
Man, just team ball, man. The defense creating turnovers, special teams making plays, and offense making them pay for it. So just team ball, real good team ball.
What was it like to be back here in Ford Field, man? It's been a while.
Oh, man, the only game here we got in a month. So no, it was really cool seeing everybody dress up, man. It's cool to have the juice flowing. So we really appreciate you guys.
Heck of a ball game out there. Kalif Raymond, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for number 11 right there.
The only person that beats Kalif Raymond into the building every day in Allen Park is Jared Goff. But let me be clear, Kalif Raymond is the last one to leave. He's always on the field last, practicing, catching 205 balls after practice. He knew his workload would go up this week. We thought it would go up in the receiving game. 190 punt return yards, Lomas, is amazing.
Yeah, Danny, and he said something that amazed me when he said that punt return for a touchdown was on punt safe. Defense safe. So that what that means is you don't have your regular punt return team out there. You have your defense still out there. And for the defense to block the way they block for him to get to the end zone, that is so impressive. So I give Coach Phipps a lot of credit for not only getting his special team unit ready, but also getting the defensive unit ready too to possibly get out there. And that was incredible. So I'm wow, man, this team is amazing me this year, Danny. With some of the stuff that we're doing, with some of the records that are being broken, it feels good to be a Detroit Lion.
So what you're saying is there can be some defenders that step up and block in the run game if we need them on offensive line.
Yeah, if we need them.
That's what you're saying.
Bring them on over there. We'll take them.
Khalif Raymond is standing by at the podium. Let's hear from him.
Gracious. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you.
Honorary captain.
Yeah.
It's your own team, and then you have that kind of performance. You're the only player ever to have a punt return touchdown, receiving touchdown in the same game in this franchise's history. Just talk about how fun this day was for you.
Dude, it was a really cool game. The last two that we played, I was telling some of the guys, Minnesota's like top 5 funnest game of all times, and then to come follow it up with this one, just to be playing such a team game is so fun. Special teams, defense, takeaways, offense, pushing it in. It's just really fun to be part of a football team like that. So really cool.
Can you explain the feeling of when you're on punt return and you realize that there's nobody left?
Oh man, well, I had that feeling too many times. No, it's kind of surreal. It's kind of like, it's happening. So it's like, don't mess up. But no, when you got guys like that, like I've been saying it the past 30, 45 minutes. When you got defensive guys who will go play 3 snaps, force a punt, and then go block on the punt, it's incredible. I think Arizona, we almost had one too, and Carlton and TA are just like they're blocking, and they're like, let's go, like they're. I mean, it's just so cool when you have a team with that kind of character, those kind of guys, that kind of grit. It's really cool. So.
Can you talk about having a moment like this in a game like this, looking back on how many teams you had to go to, get cut, come back, and now you're here, and talking to the press, starve a game and all that. Just reflect on that.
It's really cool. So I'm not a social media guy, but there's this video. I'm actually it's 2019. I want to say going into 2019 actually that season, and I had my family come out, and I have a huge family. We're all on the field. They're shooting me jugs on the punt, and my mom's got like the noodles from it's like swimming pool. I was looking at the video like last night. It's actually sitting here on my phone. She's got the noodles and she's yelling, going ah! And I'm catching punts and she's screaming. And it's such a funny video. But I was looking at it, and I was like, it's been such a long time. So much work has gone in for a moment like this. But my mom was there. Like my mom is screaming, helping me get better at my profession. So I seen it. Maybe I'll post a video one day. It's hilarious, but it's been a long time and a lot of work and a lot of help to get here. So. Yeah.
It seems like it's a different guy every week.
It's incredible.
You're going to be, it's going to be your turn.
Yeah, it's a testament to two different. One of the guys we got on this team, everybody puts their best foot forward every play, and then you got Ben. I mean, he can draw up anything for anybody, and he puts us in his best position every week, and it's so cool when he'll talk about something over and over in a week, and coverages and what we're expecting, and you get to the game, it's like it's exactly what he said it was going to be, and he's setting up things from 2 weeks prior, so. It's really cool not only to be able to play on this team, but to be able to play for somebody like that who's so detailed, so innovative. So it's really cool to watch it.
Was there ever a moment in all the various teams where you got back and forth and leaving or whatever, where it was kind of your lowest moment regarding your professional career?
Oh yeah. I remember it was a couple. Actually, 2017. Oh goodness gracious, I was struggling. Had a lot of fear, a lot of doubt. I remember actually I walked off the field. I want to say I was playing for the Giants. I was like, I just played my last NFL game. I actually told myself that in my head. And then I had a choice during that time, that off season. I was like, I can either go in the tank and just kind of quit, or I can give everything that I have. And that summer which ended up being the same summer that my mom with the noodles. I trained so hard. I trained. Probably even overtrained, you could say. But I trained so hard. I had so much help, and I had a lot of people that kind of helped me keep going. And I'm just thankful, thank God to be here today to continue doing what I'm doing. Oh man, it's a tough profession. Things are always getting better. There's always an expectation. There's a standard, and it was just one of those things. Man, I was like, am I holding myself to that standard? Am I training that hard? Am I giving my best foot forward? And that summer, I was like, I want to make sure no matter what happens, there's no question of whether or not that I turned over every stone. So, I definitely had that moment. I remember seeing it myself, but I'm thankful for it, because if I didn't have that moment, I wouldn't train. And I wouldn't work as hard as I do. I wouldn't be so as appreciative as I am for my family coming. They come to every game. My mom's at every game. And I remember it was actually that year that I told her, I was like, I don't care what happens with football. I don't want to be at another game by myself. And she said, you know what? I'll come to every game. And that it just gives me such a peace about it. But I remember those moments, and that moment is why I trained so hard, because I remember walking off the field and I was like, I never want to feel that moment again. And if I do feel that moment, it's not because I didn't give everything I have. So.
Did you see Mom after the game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so. It was just, she comes every once, so she's happy to be here, and that's the cool part about it is over the course of the years, it was so much about me. Mom can't come to the game, Dad can't come to my game, my wife comes to the games. I'm like, but now it's so much cooler. It's almost flipped now. It's like they get to experience it, and because this game is such a short part of your life, so it doesn't last forever. So it's even cool watching them enjoy, get to be here in those moments. So that's why I work so hard. So. Yeah.
Last year, it was like y'all knew y'all was good, but y'all still kind of figuring out, is the mentality any different enter this season, or what do you feel like is different around this team at this point?
I think I just talked to somebody about it. I think you have a room and a team full of high character guys who have faced some adversity at some point in their career, and when you have guys that work that hard, care that much, and have that much character, you don't go into any week thinking you're entitled to anything, and you work like that. But more importantly, and Saint, he said, he's like, we practice like that. He wants to be the best practice team. And that guy catches 202 balls every day. I've seen it for the last 4 years, doesn't miss. So you got that guy doing that. Jared coming in 7 in the morning, leaving 7, 8 at night. You know what I'm saying? It's just, when you got guys like that, there is no drop off as far as expectation or standard, because they are setting the standard. So we got a bunch of high character guys, and when you practice the way that those high character guys practice, the results will speak for itself, and you try to kind of trust that. So.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Khalif Raymond is Detroit Lions football, 30 years old, 9th season in the league, and he's still hungry for some more. Defensively, we need to talk about interceptions. Linebacker Trevor Nowaski,
Yes.
2nd year in the league. He didn't record any tackles, but he did record an INT. First possession of the Titans, he locked down that ball, put Detroit's offense in favorable position, and then Kirby Joseph, of course, he captures his 5th interception on the season. That leads all safeties right now. He is, I want to say he's on his way towards making history. He's on his way towards making a lot of money in the NFL.
Right. I like that, Danny, because you are right. They might have to back the truck up for Kirby Joseph, because you're right. He's playing at such a high level right now. He is all over the field. I talk about Brian Branch. We have 2 of the best safeties that can cover a field, I think, in the NFL. These guys, it doesn't matter what part of the field they have to cover. Their makeup speed is something to behold. And these guys, they read at the point of attack. They attack the ball at the high point. They do everything you're supposed to do in the secondary defending guys. So I tell you what, man, we're sitting in a good position for a lot of years with these 2 young safeties that we have, especially Kirby Joseph.
4 turnovers on the day from the Detroit Lions defense. You just saw 2 of those coming in the form of INTs. There are a couple of forced fumbles, though, as well, from a couple of players who were getting down, recovering fumbles or causing them. And you have a really great duo in Amik Robertson.
Yes.
Isaiah Thomas was one of them. And then I believe, Carlton Davis was the other one?
Yeah,
Was that
Carlton
the other one?
had one.
Let's take a look. Here we are.
There you go. I think Amik had 2. Didn't he force
2 forced fumbles.
Yeah, I mean, he was in there punching the ball out. And that seems to be the trend this year, Danny, where guys, defenders come up on you. They're not just trying to tackle you now. They're trying to punch that ball out. I thought Amik did a great job of forcing those 2 fumbles. Of course, you talk about Carlton Davis, and he's so aggressive, man. And I love the aggression he plays with. He calls 1, 2, and that's good to see our defense causing these turnovers and getting these turnovers. To me, that means they practice these in practice, and it's something that Aaron Glenn constantly harps at these guys about, getting turnovers, forcing turnovers, standing the guy up and stripping the ball.
Secondary really showed up because pass rush needs some help. Typically, it's the big guys up front along that defensive line giving the secondary a little bit more time to cover. Well, secondary proved they didn't really need much of that here today because they were causing a lot of turnovers. That wraps up defensive talk. Let's go to around the league here in the NFL. We've got to check on some scores, see how our buddies are doing. That Arizona Dolphins game actually a lot closer than I thought it would have been.
Can't get off the slide. I think Tua came back today and they still ended up losing.
Bills, Seahawks, that's still a close one here today. Bucks, Atlanta Falcons. I'm not sure if I had Falcons over Bucks in that one.
I didn't either, Danny. That's going to be a divisional race that's going to probably come down to the last game.
And then it was a shootout in Los Angeles, clearly.
In the world is
That's a great score. I love when the total score is 5.
Are you sure that's not the Dodgers and the Yankees right there?
I mean, it might as well be. Yeah, we're not really sure what's going on there. We'll see. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Carolina leading Denver early on in there. Kansas City Raiders. Did Raiders pull the upset?
It looked like they can, Danny, but Patrick Mahomes, you can't count him out.
No, you sure can't. Washington Bears, that is a really good game today.
Is Jaden Daniels, is he playing? Oh, he is. Okay, yeah, I want to see some of that, Danny, because that should be a great game.
Okay, but this is one surprising. Browns over the Baltimore Ravens, 29-24. That is an insane storyline right now with Deshaun Watson going down.
Okay.
And that Jameis Winston's stepping up at quarterback.
So me and you said we thought the only team right now that may compete with the Lions, we thought it was Baltimore.
We jinxed
them. But they let themselves down today, and we didn't. This was a trap game for us, Danny. We handled our business. They didn't.
Packers, Jags, that's a high-scoring game right there. I know Jordan Love went down in that game, I believe, with a groin injury. Who knows if we'll see him next week. Detroit going to Green Bay to take on those Packers. So, yeah, quarterback will be questionable in that one. What comes to your mind first, though, when you're thinking about a Packers matchup in Green Bay?
Yeah, divisional game, and like I always say, those are going to be the toughest games that you play, your games within your division. Both teams, I think both teams are looking to win that game and kind of get a foothold in this division because we know this is going to be a tough division, Danny. It's a possibility where if our teams keep playing the way they're playing in this division, we may be able to get all 4 teams in the playoff. And that's not that you don't hear about that too often. So, again, this is an important game. It's also a road game too. So to me, anytime you play on the road in the division, it counts a little bit more, especially if you could go in there and win the game.
It certainly helps that the Detroit Lions are clicking on every single cylinder. If one unit, one phase of this football team isn't stepping up to the plate, that's okay because you have special teams, you have defense that is going to carry you. What is your number one final takeaway from 52 points up on that scoreboard?
I mean, Danny, a lot of people thought this was a trap. This could be a trap game. Man, these are different Detroit Lions. It's not the same old Lions anymore. Back in the past, we might have had a little problems with this team. This Lions, this version of the Lions, we take no prisoners. And that's what they did today. They came out, they beat an inferior team, which they were supposed to do, and they beat them handedly. So I'm so happy we got out of there pretty much healthy too, Danny. That's what I wanted to see us do. Execute and get out the game healthy. And I think we did that for the most part.
Yeah, just Malcolm Rodriguez leaving this game with an injury.
That's right.
Linebacker unit's going to want him, but they're also one of the deepest units on this team. That wraps up Detroit Lions Live post-game show presented by Cure Auto Insurance. 52-14 is the final, holding those Titans scoreless through the final 2 quarters of this ball game inside Ford Field. The first time back inside of this stadium in about a month. Detroit takes care of business.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. And now we go on the road just to face NFC North opponent, the Green Bay Packers, in Week 9. We'll see you there.